Okay, so today I went to Beverly Hills. I had this clip in my head being like from Clueless, where you say, anything below sunset is bad. You shouldn't go there. And I wanted to check out some good architecture, and I don't really know what I'm doing here or what to do here. So I thought, I'm just going to go. I want to go and check out Beverly Hills because that's supposed to be a really nice area where I could check out the architecture and stuff. I was going to do it yesterday, but I saw a post from a Britney rally about how they want to do a protest outside TriStar or something. I don't really know anything about TriStar. Like I don't want to be upsetting any business or whatever. I don't know what happened with Britney, to be honest. I mean, I feel like a lot of stuff that's around her life, or the articles or the magazines, I feel like it's got nothing to do with her, and I think a lot of it is 3 or 4 years ago when people started believing. I think they knew it at the beginning, but I don't know if they necessarily believed then. But 3, 4, 5 years ago, when they did start believing that she was sort of a representation of me in a way, I think a lot of the media started creating lots of stories, and this whole thing with Britney Spears' conservatorship, I felt like it was something that was kind of just made up and didn't actually exist. And I still don't know the truth, and I still don't necessarily believe whatever people are saying. But I wanted to go down there to ask some questions, such as, are you sure that it's actually been in place since 2008? I mean, maybe it was in place, but it just wasn't really implemented or enforced in any way. And then, or maybe it just never existed and it just got made up because, in 2008, I had the best year of my life in uni at third year. I was partying and just having a really good time. Okay, I did still continue doing that in 2009, but I was no longer living in a residence. I was kind of just going there, visiting for a few days, and then going back and then living on my sofa. And I was trying to find a job from 2008, and that was when my life started falling apart because I couldn't get a job. And I went through huge amounts of depression because I couldn't get a job. It was like I was sending out hundreds of CVs a day and no one was responding. Just in the same way that in the last few years, I believe that I'm Christ and I'm trying to get people to respond, and I can't seem to get anyone to respond. I've had that same problem since 2008. It's like you're desperately trying to do something, and I don't like people who live off the government and who are jobless and just do nothing. And I was one of those people that were doing that. So on one hand, I didn't want to be one of those people that didn't have a job or couldn't earn money. But at the same time, I was kind of forced to be like that because I wasn't getting any response from anyone that I was trying to contact about getting a job. And I couldn't just walk into a shop and work as a cashier because I knew that I wouldn't actually want to be doing that kind of job. I want to be doing something that involves more thinking and more intelligence, and just no one was giving me any opportunity. So I went through a huge amount of pressure from that. But that's when Britney Spears' conservatorship was supposed to start. And I have been living in a type of conservatorship because I can vote, but I don't want to vote because I don't really know what I'm voting for when I vote. Can vote for a person because of all these reasons, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're actually going to stick to whatever it is that they've agreed to. And so yeah, and I don't drive because I know I'm pretty suicidal. Plus, I was desperately trying to save up to buy a house. I wasn't earning much money. Massage was only just about covering my rent during the times that I was renting, so I was basically earning nothing. Didn't have any money to buy a car, and then when I moved into a house, I was still wanting to save up because I was hoping to not have to live in Birmingham and hoping to save up so that I could move closer to London. Um, or just closer to something that's more recognizable. I do like Birmingham, but it's not really, location wise, it's not really where I wanted to be. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to go and just see what this was about. I think I would have preferred something a bit more about Britney rather than TriStar. But the whole time I was reminded that actually Lou Taylor isn't actually, a brown lady or a lady with brown hair who works as I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know if there is deception or whatever, but I don't know. So I'm not. I didn't go there to try and support Britney. I went there to try and support myself. I've been in a conservatorship by God, who's treated me like crap ever since I've been trying to get a job. And yeah, it's a really bad relationship. And that song, Summertime. Me and Louie were going to run to the party. Well, it just reminded me of Lou Taylor. And yeah, I the thing is though, it's funny because they were all about getting Britney out of this conservatorship. Okay, she's out, she's out of the conservatorship now. But then they were chanting, get prison for Taylor, prison for Taylor, or I can't remember, what were the words they used? Why is it blanked out of my mind now? Um, um, yeah, lock Taylor up, lock Taylor up. It was kept being like that, and it was just like on one hand they're against the conservatorships and they want it to end, but on the other hand they're saying lock Taylor up, and now they don't know the spiritual meaning behind these things, but I do. Britney Spears is a sort of dumb blonde side version of me. I don't want people to see me as a dumb blonde, but at the same time, I'd rather they see me as a dumb blonde and not want to kill me than for them to think that I'm actually far more like Gwen Stefani or a big long list of other people, because then they're going to feel really, really threatened and scared of me, and there will be a lot of people who will be so scared of me that they would want me out the way. Or they might believe that I'm God, think, okay, yeah, she is God, but wait, this means that I can no longer talk for God and say all the things that I believe about God because, God is here and God is going to disprove my beliefs, and they're also going to want me dead. Then if there are people getting suicidal thoughts, all their friends, all the ones that don't die, they're going to want me dead. A lot of people are going to want me dead. And I think the biggest one, though, is definitely the Taylor Swift character, because Taylor Swift is as Allah. And yes, Allah, people who worship Allah have no clue who Allah is. Now, if they knew I was Allah, they would not be happy with me because a lot of them wouldn't accept it. Now, I know it will be accepted with time, and the ones that want to support me will help me probably by going pink. But that is what I support. But and again, that's more reason for more people to want me dead. Um, and yeah, I think though it is going to take a while for me to be accepted as Allah. And if I am going to go into a Big Brother house soon, I want people to see me. I want people to know me. I want people to see both the dumb side and the smart side, and the sort of naive side. I'm pretty sure they'll see that side. But um, I think if I was wearing a Rihanna t-shirt around, I fit far more in with the environment and I felt fit better. But if I wear a Britney t-shirt, I feel safer wearing a Britney t-shirt. The problem is that's definitely the more gullible side. But anyway, I know for a fact that I do need to be not in a conservatorship necessarily. I think I need to be in prison, like worse than a conservatorship is just you can kind of do what you want, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of people wanting me dead. So yeah, I think I need to be locked up, for my own sake, not necessarily for a huge long time, but just until things have settled down. And yeah, I want to go into the Big Brother house or into a house where I can promote myself as being me. Um, I think a game show such as Big Brother is probably, it's a light-hearted, or it's supposed to be a light-hearted show, and therefore it's not going to be taken too seriously. If there is lots of shows, people can always look back on the shows and just and be like, okay, well, this is what she was like before she died. um, and and I feel like I was at that protest not because I had anything to do with Britney or Taylor. I was there because I felt like I was learning something for myself and learning that actually I really need to be in the Big Brother house, not just because I want to stop myself from going on the internet, not just because I want to stop myself from listening to constant songs, feeling like they're all about me and that they're either guys telling me they love me when in reality they're just ignoring me, or something else telling me to go kill myself. There's all sorts of messages in songs, and I shouldn't listen to them, but I am. But yeah, I need to be in an environment where, I guess, a type of conservatorship where I don't drive, because I will probably, I don't think I'll be the best of drivers. Where I don't vote, because if I voted, I'd probably vote to kill myself. I think there's a vote coming where people get to choose to live or die, and I probably shouldn't have the right to vote on that for myself, because I would choose what's best for me, and that's not necessarily what's best for the world. I don't think it's best for the world, because I think I really do need to live. I, I, yeah, and then yeah, I think actually the creepiest sign was there was one sign about how Taylor and Britney's father have an intimate friendship or something, and intimate though in my mind doesn't mean sex. I thought Michael Jackson might have been a little bit intimate with some of the children, which is inappropriate, but at the same time, I don't see intimacy as being like completely on top of each other or anything. It was, I don't know, maybe just, I don't know. But I'm happy to be intimate in front of the camera, in front of whoever. I'm doing massage. There's an intimacy to all of that, and I don't really want my massage sessions. I definitely don't want my massage sessions being getting out all over the world. But if I was to be filmed doing a massage for someone else, I don't do hand relief, and it is an intimate thing, and I have no problem with people seeing that side to me. But anyway, yeah, intimate doesn't mean too much for me. But yeah, there was a sign. It was about, and Taylor represents a sort of other side of me, which I guess is the smarter side. But yeah, the smarter side of me knows that if I am going to go into a Big Brother house, I need to not mention Allah. I need to not mention anything about Muslims. I need to not mention anything about that side of things. I will say that I'm God, yes, and just don't bring up the topic of Allah because I don't want to piss off Muslims. I want them on my side. If I'm seen as a dappy blonde who thinks she's God, then Muslims are not going to pay any attention to it. If I see myself if I start saying to the world that I'm Allah, and I don't know. I would have thought it'd been fine to say that I don't agree with the veil, and I think it's not okay to say that, but I also need to say that. I also need to come off as an idiot while saying that, or someone who maybe is just could be wrong or whatever. I don't know, but it made me worry because on the way back I wasn't looking at the stars, and then I looked down and I noticed it said R.I.P. Taylor, like saying goodbye, like death to rest in peace to Taylor, and it's not talking about the actor, the artist or anything. It's referring to that side of me. I think that side of me, it needs to be exposed, and it 100% needs to be exposed. But I think I need to be in hiding by the time it does be exposed. And if people are making up false stories about Britney Spears, yeah, I think there should be some false story about Lou Taylor being under house arrest or whatever. Um, I don't know how long for. I mean, it could be for as long as 3.5 years, but I'm really hoping it's not going to be that long because I really want to go places. I saw that Madonna did just a New York song, and I have been to New York, but only when trans getting off a plane and getting onto another plane, and that's happened twice. But yeah, I do want to go places. I do want to visit the world, and I also don't want people to know where I am, because that would put myself at risk for a while. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I wore this T-shirt which says, it says it's song She's Been Cloned, but I've crossed it out and said I've been cloned. I think She's Been Cloned is much more accurate because it's not actually talking about Britney, it's talking about me, saying how there's a lot of people who seem to be like a different version cloned of me, whatever. But yeah, I would rather people think that I'm only Britney because I'm less likely to be murdered if they think I'm only like Britney.